this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Kamala Harris. I'm like, I bet there's a person in there. I bet I can get to that person.
Yeah.
I wanted to find that person. I don't want to hear all the speeches. I don't want to hear, I was raised middle class. I don't want to hear any of that.
She's a roller skater. You know that?
No, I would love to find that out.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to her about all kinds of I literally said, like, because there was a few restrictions of things they didn't want to talk about. But I said, I don't give a I go get her in here. Like, whatever you want to talk about. And they want to know if I edit. I'm like, there's not going to be any editing. There's no editing. I just wanted to talk.
Kamala Harris probably should have taken advantage of those very free opportunities for earned media where she could get her message out, especially on a huge platform like Joe Rogan's podcast.
Or ours.
Or ours. But, I mean, would she ever bother coming on our show?
So, yeah, look, guys, a quick thing on this, and then we'll get back to all the ways that she spent money like an idiot. Sorry, Kamala Harris Protection Industrial Complex. Sorry, we have to protect her ego.
Spent money like a brilliant person who put a
wasted
campaign
it all
in
and
debt.
Lost. Okay, anyways, so look, guys, you can say I'm biased on this, perfectly fine. I don't know that there's any show or network on the planet that had more undecided voters. I read your comments every single day on air. So many of you were undecided. The way that Democrats work and Kamala Harris works, just this is for your edification, less about us, is the money that you were about to tell you they spent on ads. They're not really buying the ads as much as they're buying the earned media that comes with the ads. What they're getting compliance, that's what they're buying from those outlets. The reason why they won't advertise on us, even though we have 27 million subscribers, 29 billion lifetime views, I mean, there's only two possible explanations. One is there's not a single person in the building that understands the internet at all. So they're like, oh, who's the biggest online network on the left? If you can't answer that question and you don't know that it's us, my God, you didn't do any of your homework, right? Yeah. So, okay, either you're grossly incompetent or you looked at us and said, oh, that's where all the voters we have to convince are, but they didn't do propaganda for us.
They didn't comply.
Since they didn't comply, we're gonna give them no money. You idiots, it's not about us. It's about your chance of winning. 3 election cycles in a row that the morons who run the Democratic Party decided not to address progressives or populists or anyone who was undecided about Gaza or anything else. Instead, they gave it to the compliant press. How'd that work out for you?
Not so great, and it did lead to the campaign not only squandering over $1 billion, but also exiting the race with debt. So let's get to these details. So there's a new report out by Gabe Kaminsky from Washington Examiner. They actually looked at the disclosures and filings of the Harris campaign to see how much money they raised, where the money went, and boy, is it a doozy. So for instance, in mid-October, by the way, let me just be clear. Harris didn't run a full campaign. She ran a campaign for 3 months, raised a record amount of money, over $1 billion, and somehow spent that within 3 months. So in mid-October, the Harris campaign disclosed that it had spent over $880 million this election, almost $526 million greater than the roughly $354 million that the Trump campaign had disclosed spending, according to a Washington Examiner analysis of federal filings. Much of the Harris campaign spending was allocated for digital media advertising, polling, and travel from state to state, including to a private jet company called Advanced Aviation. Now, between July 22nd and Election Day specifically, the campaign and its affiliated committees spent upwards of $654 million on advertising alone. And that included spending $450 a day to be shown on the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Cringe, definition of cringe.
Real
Jesus.
Persuasive. I mean, how are you not gonna vote for the lady on the Sphere?
They spent $450,000 a day on that ad. I mean, they're just burning your money.
We need to construct a Sphere.
Jesus Christ, man. There's nothing in that sphere, that's the problem.
Yeah, totally. So the Harris campaign also spent a 6-figure sum to fly pro-Harris banners over 4 football games, NFL games, with teams from 6 out of the 7 swing states. didn't appear to be very persuasive, but there was money spent beyond ads, right? So according to the filings obtained by the Washington Examiner, political, digital, and media consultants were also paid a handsome sum of money, $12.8 million by the Harris campaign. One vendor, Village Marketing Agency, received over $3.9 million and reportedly worked to recruit thousands of social media influencers to boost Harris online. Event production was also a staple spending area of the Harris campaign, which notably hosted a star-studded lineup of musicians from Lady Gaga to Katy Perry for an election eve rally. The campaign also paid more than $15 million for event production, including spending six figures to build a set for the Call Me Daddy podcast appearance, which wasn't actually filmed at the usual set. She wanted the podcast host to fly to her in Washington, D.C., and so they wanted to give the appearance that it was filmed in the usual set, and so they rebuilt a replica set in DC in order to do that podcast. So let's take a look at this video. This is confirmed by the podcast host, Alex Cooper.
So we rebuilt basically my studio in DC.
What do you see here? So here, if you want to look.
We brought the dad pad to Washington. That's crazy. This looks so similar.
I see some, everyone.
All right, guys, she's about to be here. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
Real quick, the producers put up a live chat on the poll. I'm sorry, a live poll in the chat. Why did Harris not address progressive or populists like TYT? They're evil or they're incompetent. I don't know about evil. I'd say maybe spiteful. But incompetent is winning. Congratulations, Democrats. So now more details that are relevant here. So first of all, everybody raised and spent an enormous amount of money, and guess who's in charge? You'll never guess. It turns out it's billionaires. So first off, let me read you real quick Donald Trump's top donors. It's a surprising number one. Tim Mellon was number one at $172 million. He's the heir to an oil and banking fortune, which very likely means he's done nothing but try to preserve his wealth that he didn't earn his whole life. So he's probably in the tax deduction business and what he cares about in terms of his donations. Then you've got the second largest is Miriam Adelson at $137 million. And then Elon Musk is in the ballpark of $130 million. And he comes in third behind Miriam. They're all going to get spectacularly rewarded, but at least Donald Trump, to be fair, fairest show in America, spent their money well because he spent a lot less than Kamala Harris, but got the victory anyway. Whereas Kamala Harris took her donor money and lit it on fire, apparently. So she outspent him by $400 million in ads, just like Hillary Clinton spent almost twice as much as Donald Trump in ads, and also failed. So why did they fail? Because they do things like the Sphere. Okay, now look, it's funny on its face, but if you need more convincing, you do an ad like that if people don't know your product or your brand or your candidate, right? And they go, oh, who's that on the Sphere? And that gets a lot of attention. And then people go, oh, that's actually the person running for the House or the Senate. And they learn about it. And then you go, okay, maybe it's a lot of money, but I get it and I understand it. And that candidate needed awareness. She does not need any awareness. She's running for president and is the vice president. That ad does nothing to convince someone to vote for her. That's an awareness ad, totally misplaced when they needed persuasion, especially in Las Vegas. So if they took the Sphere and instead of putting her like face on it like a piece of like propaganda out of a bad movie, and they put no taxes on tips or something along those lines, vote for Kamala Harris. Now that would be copying Trump's policy, which she did, but whatever she thought was her winning message that would persuade those voters in Las Vegas, okay, that makes more sense. See, that's my point, and part of the reason why the consultants don't mind burning your money on senseless ads and rebuilding a set for a couple $100,000, are you guys nuts?
Because they get a little taste of that money. They don't care as long as they're making their money. The consultants don't care. They don't care about you, they don't care about the candidate, they care about getting a cut from all that money that was raised for her campaign. And look, I think the Sphere is a stupid idea. period, regardless of what's on the sphere, okay? What would have been far smarter is if Kamala Harris learned from what Donald Trump has managed to do correctly, which is earned media, earned media, earned media. How many times do I have to say that? Going on Rogan's podcast was free. But look, we also understand what the issue was with Kamala Harris going on any podcast, really. She has difficulty speaking. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know why she had that problem. She's awkward. She's uncomfortable in her own skin, and she had a difficult time making a case for herself. Every single rally speech, now that the election's over, now I can finally let it all out. Every single rally speech, Cenk, was pathetic, okay? It was all on teleprompter, which I don't have a problem with, but it was the same speech every single time, the same message every single time. No passion behind it, no real genuine or no sincerity behind it. It was just a robotic, weird, over-rehearsed speech, and it was the same speech again and again and again. The question is, would she be able to have a conversation? The reason why she didn't go on Rogan's podcast is because, number one, she wanted him to fly to her, and he's like, no, I don't do that for anybody. People come to me in Austin, Texas, and they have a 3-hour-long conversation. And that was the other thing. She didn't want to have a 3-hour-long conversation because guess what? In a 3-hour-long conversation, it's real hard to hide who you are. Things are gonna slip, and if you have some issues, they're gonna come out. And so she didn't wanna have that 3-hour-long conversation, and that's an issue. But you wanna know who did have a 3-hour-long conversation? Trump did, and then Vance did, and then Elon Musk did, and that's earned media. That costs approximately $0.
Guys, this is not Monday Morning Quarterback. As usual, we're about to show you a clip that where we explain this in the middle of the campaign when they could have done something about it, as almost every Democrat was yelling at us. Don't criticize them. Let them keep going in the wrong direction, because cheerleading going in the wrong direction is such a genius idea. Let's go to F5 here, where we pointed this out in the middle of the cycle. I think you do as much earned media as you can. Why would you hide a perfectly good candidate? Let her go and make her case to the American people over and over and over again. Oh, we might have 1 or 2 negative stories. Yeah, that's called life in the big city. But you'll have 18 positive ones, 28 positive ones, because she's out there making her case. If you have a good case and a good candidate, you should want them out there nonstop. That's my philosophy on it. And by the way, when she doesn't go out, they hold Tim Walz back. And Tim Walz is really popular and makes a great case. Send them both out. I don't think this is a close call at all, but that's my take. You know, they raise all this money to do paid media. Earned media is better. That's not the ads in between the show, it's in the show, right? And so if you're got a good case to make to the American people, you should go and make it as often as possible. Kind of a no-brainer, but apparently that's who was running the campaign, people with no brains. I mean, like, so, okay, if you get offended, if you live in Washington, hey, I don't care at all. You cost us this election, so yes, you should be offended. I think you were terrible at your job, okay? Second of all, can you learn for next time? Don't give up hundreds of millions of dollars in free media because, oh, well, we're not sure a candidate can handle it. Then pick a different candidate. Do a primary where you test your candidates really aggressively and make sure you could find someone who can speak.
Final thing I have to say about this, because it's important for you all to know about it, okay? So we found out over the weekend, thanks to Nancy Pelosi's interview with the New York Times on their podcast, The Daily, that the plan was to get Biden to, step down from the re-election bid, and then they were all planning an open primary. But Biden, 30 minutes after he dropped out of the race, decided to endorse Kamala Harris as a middle finger to the Democratic Party. The other thing to know about Joe Biden is that their internal polling before he dropped out of the race indicated that if he stayed in the race, Donald Trump was going to win even more electoral college votes than he won against Kamala Harris. But they didn't care. Okay, he remained in the race until it was, in my opinion, already incredibly late. And so he set up Kamala Harris for failure. He set up the Democratic Party for failure. But I also want to be clear that the Democratic Party specializes in failure. They're incompetent, they're pathetic, and they lied to the American people and thought that they would get away with it. The cover up on Biden's mental decline was very much real. And the fact that the party overall felt the need to lie to the American people and their own base goes to show you how little respect they have for their own voters.
All right, last two things. To back up what Anna's saying, Joe Biden does this as an FU, like, haha, now you're stuck with Kamala Harris. Brother, you picked her to be your vice president. I mean, you define failure. Oh, I picked such a terrible vice president, and I know that I would lose 400 electoral college votes and get landslided and absolutely destroy the Democratic Party and the country. But since you didn't let me do that, I'll screw you over by sticking you with the person that I picked who turned out to be terrible. Like, I mean, why don't you just hang a sign around your neck saying, I'm a terrible person who all these years told you, if you like the Democratic Party, you have to vote for people like Joe Biden. It turns out Joe Biden didn't give a damn about the Democratic Party. All he cared about was his own ego.
100%.
And the same with Kamala Harris. That's why all big giant pictures of Kamala Harris to appease her ego. So now, last one on the why all of this happens. As Anna said, they get paid for it. Normal fee for consultants, top level, okay, is 15% of the ad spend. So they're not incentivized based on the number of votes they get. They're incentivized based on the amount of money that they raise and spend. So even if it's dumb to spend it, you gotta spend it so you can get 15% of it. So the consultants are all incentivized in the wrong direction. But pathetically stupid candidates like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden haven't figured that out their whole life. They're like, oh, I don't know. I guess they said waste it all, so I wasted it all. I thought the money in politics was supposed to win me the race. And who do they all serve, whether they're those guys or Trump? 150 billionaire families in this cycle alone contributed $1.9 billion to both sides.
I'm glad that we are saving democracy.
So whether it's Trump or Harris, they're not interested in democracy. They're interested in serving those 150 billionaire families. And that's what this country is about, unfortunately, until we fix it. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.